All right. Do I have? Hey, how about putting the microphone where I could hear it or where you could hear it? Somebody's got to hear it. So, welcome to the show tonight. I've been spending some time today with my friend Osvaldo, and he is a professional colorist. And we've been playing with the colors on the S5 Mark II a lot of hours today and gotten it tuned in considerably, which I think it's tuned in considerably. So that is what's going on here. However, there is some interesting information. Hey, we're the monkeys. We're not monkeying around. Okay, so here's what's going on. We have played with the colors. Now, when you play with the colors on a camera and you want to take the camera out and about, you want to take her out to a fine restaurant, or you want to go out and enjoy your dinner, okay? So what do? You actually save the settings to one of the dials on the top. On the Canons, and over here you've got C1, C2. Some of the cameras have C3. Some of them have more. This one, the Lumix, has more. You've got C1, C2, C3. And then the C3 actually has an additional 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So, excuse me, the Nikons have U1, U2, U3. Okay? I'm using the letter U. I'm not talking about you privately or personally. All right? So we've got that going. So now when you save this stuff, you can take the camera out, put it in another mode, come back, put it back to your wherever you saved it, C1, C2, C3, and all your settings, voila, they come back. They come back just for you. Okay, now, in the process of working with Osvaldo, who the coloring is with his help today, so when we go through the different cameras, you'll see how this compares now with some of the other cameras. All right. Now, in the process, that freezing that I have said has happened before came and happened again. All right. So I was using this camera heavily for the last 5 or 6 nights. I've been going live streaming right here because I actually want to see if the camera's broken, because I bought it and it's only like less than a week old, 6 days, 5 days. But I did buy an open box, or what do they call it? A 10 plus, good as new. All right. So you don't have a lot of time to call and let them know that there's a problem. So now I found a bug in the camera, is what I believe. All right. So there's a process that you actually go through when there's a bug in anything. Doesn't even have to be a camera. Number 1, can you repeat this bug? The answer is yes. I can repeat the bug at will. I can make it happen over and over. Now you start to see, is it localized? Meaning, is it something unique to this room? Okay, so I have gone through changing cables, changing sources, changing the battery. I can repeat it over and over. So now you need to find out, is it unique to because you're connected to something or you're not connected to something? So I have had to change what I'm connected to, because that could be a problem. All right. And yes, I could repeat it again with all the connections getting changed, all the power sources getting changed, all the cables getting changed. So the SD card in the camera getting changed. So we have done all that. I have gone through every little thing to what's in reason of what I own. I mean, I can't go next door, okay, and find another power plug. Okay, so I am limited to that. So now I have to determine, is it this particular camera that is exhibiting this freezing up, which I could actually do right now if I wanted to. I'd have to get up and go over to the camera. All right. Or is all the S5 Mark IIs freeze up when you follow the sequence that I'm doing. All right, so here's where I want to ask the question. How can I find out if it's unique to this camera or if it's a major firmware bug that goes across all of the cameras? So that is a genuine question I'm throwing out. That's number one. Number two, I have not announced to my big channel that I've gotten the S5 Mark II in here yet. Okay, so am I going to come right in? Oh, I got the camera, and guess what? It's got a bug. Is that the first video I'm going to put up? Or am I going to say I got the new Lumix S5 Mark II. This is what came in the box. This is what it looks like. This is what the camera looks like, show and tell time, and then put up that there's a bug. So that's question number two, where I'm asking for advice. Okay, so this is where I'm asking you guys for specifically for advice on this particular stuff. So what I'm actually leaning towards, I'm just putting this because I've been taking the camera on and off. So what I'm leaning towards is announcing I've got the camera, but making a video that I believe there's a bug in the camera. Whether it's this particular camera or all the S5 Mark IIs on the planet, I can't determine that. So if I call Canon, which would be a dumb move, if I call Panasonic, you're going to get that lady. Did you plug it in the wall? Did you turn it on? Well, I don't have the patience for that crap, okay? I might have fallen off the turnip truck, but I didn't fall off the turnip truck last night, okay? So I'm going to need to talk to somebody where they can identify the problem. So now my big question is, what do I do with B&H? With B&H, the camera is on a limited timetable. So if I turn this camera back in and get another one, this is under the used department. So the rules are different than a brand new camera. So I need to invoke that right away. So there's a few things that I'm juggling at the moment, okay? And I think my course of action is to do two things. So this is where you guys are going to come in and you're going to correct me where I'm wrong, because I'm at the point of asking advice, okay? So the advice that I'm asking for is by telling you the course of action that I actually plan on taking. So the course of action is I'm going to do two things tomorrow. I'm going to start the procedure on exchanging this camera so that I don't go past the date where they go, oh, you have to deal with Panasonic, okay? I want to do the easy road, turn the camera in and get another camera, okay? So that is one of the roads that I am going to do. And then the other one is I'm going to document with Panasonic that I believe there's a bug. Here's what I've done. And if they're not cooperative, I'm just going to go on the big channel and just start explaining what's going on, explain that I tried to call Panasonic, and just tell my experience with Panasonic, okay? So I'm hoping that I will get somebody smarter than that lady that is just going to read from the cue cards, because that's how they work. These people are not all trained on, not all of them are not trained on each of the different products that they have to actually, go through technical support with. So if you call in with a GH5 Mark VI, she's not going to know everything about that. She's going to be reading cue cards. It's only fair for that person to do that. But I need to get past that person to a person that will have a real communication with me. If I can't do that, then I will start railing on Panasonic in the next video. Okay, so that's my course of action. All right, so here is Osvaldo. Osvaldo is the gentleman. He gets a lot of the credit. That's the best solution. Send it back. Send her out. What is it? Lock her up. Lock it up. Send it back. Okay, so yeah, so tomorrow, that's my plan. So Osvaldo is OMC Productions. He's the colorist that has been helping me for hours helping me tune in this camera. That's another part of the bug. Okay, so Osvaldo, does the colors look proper? Because guess what? When you freeze up the color, when you freeze up the camera, even though I saved it to C3, when I go back to C3, wiped out. So now I have written it down, but I'm not sure I did everything properly, okay? So it should look the way we have looked earlier in the day, all right? So if it's not, we'll do it on a phone call. Hey, I talked to Sammy today on the phone. So first of all, let's go through these. It's Scott saying, hey, it's the Lumix. This is Charles going, hello, Peter. How you doing, Charles? And Sammy called me and talked to me from, where do you think? He was at B&H. So Sammy and I have been having some back and forth conversations. So if I could stay on topic here, I could probably just record this rather than recording a new video. I'm better off recording a new video. So tomorrow morning or later tonight, depending if I go to sleep, I will have to go and make a new video. So now we are in problem solving mode at the moment, okay? So this is the family channel. So if you want to joke, you could do that. And as a matter of fact, here's our joke. Right here, the very first jokester is on the scene. Baby, you need to go to Fuji. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay, I'm solving this problem first. So if I don't get it solved, we very well might go to another camera. So that joke might not be that far off. Is Fuji in the running? No, not really, okay? I don't have a confidence in the Fuji focus system, and I have been seeing the Fuji. I'm telling it how it is, Charles, okay? I'm not whitewashing it. I have been paying close attention because I like the Fuji camera, the camera body. The focus system fails. Even on those that say the focus system is perfect now, then they show you and it fails, okay? So I'm not going there, all right? So it's going to either go back to the Canon R6, which is a fine camera. I could take it out. Or if they solve this, we will be able to continue on with the Lumix. Now, I'm going to have to do a video on the Lumix. What are the disappointments in the Lumix? So one of the disappointments that are in the Lumix is it doesn't have a clarity slider. They put in all this stuff. They've got, what do you call those things with the charts and the waveforms and the color charts. And they've got where you can bring down the shadows and raise the shadows. You can bring down the highlights and raise the highlights. You could do all that. And Nikon gives you a clarity slider so you can address the skin. Skin is an important feature. Canon gives you a clarity slider. You could address the skin. Does the Lumix give you a clarity slider? By golly, no, it doesn't. That needs to be in there. And it doesn't need to be at a higher price camera to put in the clarity slider, okay? So the R6 is now, $1,400. It has a clarity slider. The Nikon ZFC has a clarity slider. That camera's $1,000. This one here has a clarity slider. So that is a pretty harsh thing not to have in the camera. So I will make a video and I will say that that is one of my bigger disappointments. Okay. The other disappointment is when I'm shooting pictures, I can't take any lens. On shooting pictures, listen carefully now, I cannot shoot pictures and change to a crop sensor. This is a full frame camera, okay? I can do it on videos. So if I have a 100 millimeter lens, it can become a 150 millimeter lens. So the same lens can do double duty. So you say, Peter, why don't you just crop it? Okay, the reason you don't just crop it is because when you crop it, you lose resolution. It's a lot stronger than if you crop it in camera. If you crop it in camera on a still picture, you get to keep your resolution, okay? So that's another thing that should be in this camera, because I understand pricing points. pricing points is a very important thing to the marketing teams. Okay, so I intend to discuss all this stuff when I get into this on the big channel. And then there's the A7C Mark II coming out. So I've got to make a video on that. So we've got a few videos that I need to get the lead out of my pants and get some of these videos done. No, Richard, Charles, the Fujifilm does not have clarity sliders, okay? The clarity sliders only work in certain modes. And there's a few other main things that only work in certain modes, okay? So you cannot use them across the board like you can on Nikon and Canon, and even here you can use the what do you call it? The curves. You can use the curves across the board here. High tones, shadow tones, you can use it across the board, because I did get excited with the Fuji. And when you look into it and go to the instruction manual, which I did download, those are not available, I believe, in the movie modes, okay? I could be wrong. It could be the other way. It might not be available in the picture modes. So when you make a statement like, oh, it has clarity sliders, well, that's true, but they're not available everywhere, okay? So what good is that? I could buy another camera and I can have all these features available, whether I'm using the videos or if I'm using pictures, if I'm using HDMI out, or if I'm not. So the Fuji limits you severely quickly, okay? That is a deal breaker. So Fuji is out. So yeah, your Fujifilm X-H2 and X-H2 have clarity sliders. Now go see where you can use them, okay? Because you can't use them everywhere. They shut them down. I read this directly in the instruction manual, which you can download as a PDF. The clarity slider, the high resolution stuff on what do you call it? The midtones, the high tones, and the low tones. Those are great. Not available in video modes. Not available if you're shooting RAW. Not available if you're doing this. Not available, and it's all right there in the manual, okay? So you coming in and saying it has it sent me off all excited only to shoot me down, okay? And it's not your fault, Charles. Read the manual, okay? It tells you right in the manual it's not available. So the clarity slider is not available on the Canon if you go to C-Log. Now, if you go to log on the Nikon Z6, guess what? It's available. So these things are gotchas, and you got to be careful, because if you've got your heart set on it, you might get bit in the butt, okay? Just like Charles is saying. Charles, don't make an issue out of it. Find out, because you're wrong, okay? Nobody wants to be told you're wrong, but I have the instruction manual on the, which one is it? The X-H2S, which would be the one I would be interested in. All right, so go look at these functions and you see they're not available in all the different modes on the camera. And if they're not available in all the modes, no deal. I am not going, okay? So the manual just came out. The camera is not even 5 months old, okay? So, you know, it sounds like you're arguing a point that's moot, okay? So I have another friend that's got the Fuji camera, all right? So if you can prove it to me, make a video, all right? I will watch it. I would like to know. I want the clarity slider. I want the high and the shadow detail. I want those sliders to be available in video. I want them to be available on HDMI. And I want them to be available in pictures. Now, if you knock that out, what good is the camera to me? Not at all. Okay, so I'm sorry to get into a fuss with you, okay? But don't be talking, you know, shenanigans to me. Because if I get that camera in here, and I would, except I can't anymore, and it's not available, it's a no deal. All right? So you record a video at 4K, not 1080. You record a video at 4K at 30p, then do it again at 60p, and see if the clarity slider and your high tones and your shadow tones, if they can all be changed. Then you do live streaming, right? Connect your HDMI port and make sure all that is still functioning there also. And if it is, thank you very much. I would like to know. Then the camera becomes viable again. But I have a problem with the focus on that camera. So I'd actually have to get one in to test it, and I might be able to do that. Okay, so I do. The reason I'm being aggressive is because Fuji makes a really good camera. I mean, they are not something to sneeze about. As a matter of fact, I am looking eagerly, very eagerly, for the GHX 50S Mark, whatever they're up to, because whatever the new one is, they've got phase detection on the 100 megapixels, but they have contrast detection on the 50. I want the 50 because Fuji's got better colors. They're color professionals. Okay, they made film. They got Vivia, Astria, all those different colors. So yeah, I'm very interested. So you told me, yeah, they got the 50, blah, blah, blah. I went and looked at it. Contrast detection. Seriously? Who is the heck did that? Okay, and that's on model 2 or 3. Now, the GFX 100S has the new phase detection. So I am looking carefully for whatever they do with the 50. But I keep going to the Fuji rumors, and they're coming out with everything except an update to the 50. So what's going on over at Fuji? Are they half asleep on the button over there? These people are buying medium frame cameras that are in the same format like a full frame, like this Lumix, or if you buy whatever full frame camera, so you're not carrying a camera around that big, you've got a much smaller camera, okay? 50 megapixels, which is doable. Medium format, meaning you've got a bigger sensor. You've got Fuji colors. You've got the Fuji lenses are second to none. Fujinon lenses are top of the line, okay? And then they put contrast detection. That's what they got in there. So I can't blame them for that. That's all they had at that time. But that's the camera. They need to put phase detection autofocus. They're coming out with a S20. They're coming out with something to clip your toenails. Come on, Fuji, wake up, dudes. Get out the 50, the GFX 50S Mark V. I don't care what the number is anymore. And give us that camera. Now you've got something where I could tell people you don't need to go to full frame. Now you can go to medium format. You've got a bigger sensor, and it's the same size camera. You've got 50 megapixels. You've got medium format. You've got the Fujinon lenses, okay? And you've got phase detection, okay? There is a GFS S2 that has the same focus as the GFX 100S. I will bet you a nickel right now, 5 pennies. You are 100% wrong. Go to B&H or Adorama, look at the specs. All the GFX 50s, every single one of them has contrast detection autofocus. You don't want that, and I don't want that. I want the focus that's in the 100S. That's the focus system I want, okay? And don't give me this baloney that they did a firmware update. They didn't change the hardware in the camera, okay? So all the 50s have contrast detection. You and I want phase detection. Now you've got a full frame camera with a medium format sensor that has got phase detection autofocus. That is worth banking on. That is a camera to herald. That would make it unique for you or for me, because anybody can have a Canon, an Nikon, a Sony, a Lumix, but who live streams with a medium format camera? Not many people, okay? So we should be having this conversation tomorrow night because, I just wanted to come on here and give you the update on that. And we're over on Fuji. I don't want to be on Fuji. No offense to Charles or anybody on Fuji. I want to talk about the fact that I found a firmware bug on this camera, and that is what I plan on coming out with to get Lumix and Panasonic's attention, okay? So that's what I want to focus on. So I got sidetracked, and I'm not going to get sidetracked anymore, okay? I'm staying on the Lumix. So, Carla, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been doing up to? Okay, so I got the Lumix camera, and I have a bug in the camera. I can't identify. I can change everything, and I have cables, computers. I have changed battery sources. I have changed everything except the camera, which I can't. Okay, so Charles, I'm not going over to the Fuji. I'm done with Fuji for tonight. You want to argue about Fuji? We'll do it tomorrow night. Okay. I want to stay on the Lumix because I have it in the title that it has a bug, which is going to attract the Panasonic people. I don't want the Panasonic people to come here and I'm talking about Fuji all night. That's just not conducive to this program, okay? So they scan, because I used to scan, and when they see somebody that says, oh, the S5 Mark II has a bug, oh, they're going to start sharing it with everybody in Panasonic, okay? I have not identified the bug, all right? I'm going to see how they respond to me, Charles, okay? If they're mean to me on the phone, if you think I'm hot now, wait till I make the next video. So don't sidetrack me to Fuji. Please, I'm asking you as my friend. Let's stay here. Get me going on this Lumix bug, okay? That's where you need to stoke me. That's what I want to happen. Let Panasonic see that we could talk about this, all right? That's important because when they have their meeting, they're going to play this video, okay? And when I call them tomorrow, if I get one of these ladies that's going to read cue cards, okay, I'm not interested in getting read to. If I want somebody to read the Bible or if I want somebody to read me the instruction manual, I can do that myself. I could go to B&H and read the specs. So when I call tomorrow, that's going to be on my mind. So I'm hoping you guys get me stoked up to deal with these people that I will actually be dealing with tomorrow. Okay? Okay, so Charles says, here's another fact. You bought the camera as an open box. Okay? So yes, but it does say 10 plus good as new. This camera locks up, and I can make it lock up on command. When I say lock up, it'll freeze. And I can't turn it off and turn it back on. I can tell you that much. I have to remove the battery. I actually count to 10 because it's a habit, okay? Put the battery back in, and then I can go and I can make it lock up again. So it's a repeatable thing. I can make it lock up on demand, okay? So that's number one. So now, what happens after that? Is it locking up because of my battery? Peter, did you try another battery? Yes, I have 3. And no, they're not third market batteries. You know darn well they would say, oh, you have a Wasabi battery. No, I have 3 Lumix batteries. I have 3 genuine Lumix batteries. All of them purchased from B&H, all of them right there in Lumix boxes. I have tried battery number 1, I have tried battery number 2, and I have battery number 3, okay? So I have changed the batteries. Now, is it the cables? Is it the USB-C cable? Is it an HDMI cable? I have changed everything at least 4 times, okay? So I cannot identify anything as being unique except one thing, the camera. The camera is the central thing, and I don't have a second camera. So I need to send this camera back. Now, if I get another camera and it does exactly the same thing, then it's a firmware bug across all of the Lumix cameras. Everybody agree with me on that? Okay. If it works fine, then it's unique to this camera, and it might be why this camera was sold to me in the used department. Okay, so Charles says, I never buy anything open box, too much money to waste and gamble. I strongly believe it's a bad camera. So you're bringing it down to the camera level. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I can't prove that. That's the one thing I can't prove until I exchange this camera. And if the other one does the same thing, then they have a firmware bug. But the way I know that Matt Frazier and the other people scan the internet, Matt Frazier is a guy that is on a very, very high level gentleman in Panasonic. Okay, we used to be able to speak on the phone, and then he ghosted me. Okay, I'm not sure if I did something wrong or if he just doesn't like me anymore. Okay, but that doesn't matter. He needs to hear this. Okay, or people in the Panasonic, because they scan. When I said that the 90D Canon 90D had a firmware bug, do you know I got a call from their lawyers telling me I needed to take it down? I need to take that video down because I made the claim they have a firmware bug. And I proved to them I'm not taking it down. This is the lawyers, not my friends inside of Canon. They don't like it when you say it's a bug. So I did get trapped talking about the Fuji, where they need to be hearing about the Lumix, because these are the guys, including their lawyers, that's going to be hearing me saying that I am claiming a firmware bug. And the only thing that is not identifiable is if it's the camera body or not. Okay? So, so Charles says, before you blow out steam, I would exchange the camera. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to get the camera exchange in the works. Okay? And then I'm also going to call Panasonic. And then I know a couple of guys that actually have this camera that I will communicate with them too. All right, so that is the plan, and that is what we have going. Okay, so tomorrow night we'll talk about this again, because we do have a show tomorrow night, right? But I wanted this to be streamlined, and I wanted it to be about Panasonic, and I got tricked. So that's my own fault. All right. So tomorrow maybe we'll try again. All right. See the title of this? What's the title on here? We've got a firmware bug in the Lumix S5 Mark II. Or, okay, because the or is, or this camera is broken. What if this camera is broken? So, are there any reports on the internet about any freezing? I looked and I didn't find any. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay, so I will look, but you know something? It's not my job to do Panasonic's research. But you're right, Scott. I will do more research. When using your hands, your S5 is going in and out of focus. Okay, that means that got reset too, because I've been doing the camera. I've been freezing it over and over and over because I don't want to make all these complaints if I can't freeze it over and over. So when I go here, I have it set so the focus is up here. So if I put my hands in front, see the hand is in focus? But I have it set so when I talk, it doesn't change focus, okay? Because I have it up here. When the camera froze, and it just froze about a half hour again, okay, before I came live. It resets everything, okay? So it might be reset to the wrong spot again because I fixed that. Funny Fest, I did fix that. And the good thing is you can fix that on this camera. You can make it to ignore everything from my chin down. So as a Greek guy, when I talk of the Greek stuff, it should not go in and out of focus. Now, I can't do that on the Nikon Z6. It takes the whole thing. So when I talk Greek over there, it goes in and out of focus. So it should not do that here. That is fixable. But look, I'm actually got my hands. All right, see what I'm doing? I'm over here now with the Nikon Z6. It's focused on my hand. Okay, I cannot identify an area on that camera. So let's go back to the Lumix. Now on the Lumix, I can identify an area, but I think I'm excited right now. So I think I'm talking in my face area, all right? Which means I need to be doing my gesticulations under the chin. So there is a mic over here, and I need to kind of move the mic out of the way so I can gesticulate here when I get excited and talk like a Greek or an Italian or one of the ethnic, Latins down here, okay? So if I have the mic here, I have to talk above here, which is in my face. So you got it spot on, Funny Fest, okay? So that is my show for tonight. I'm waiting for the camera to lock up, and I have locked it up all day. So I can repeat locking this camera up over and over and over and over. So if there's anybody listening that has one of these cameras, the Lumix S5 Mark II, let's get in contact. I want to see if you can replicate this on your camera, because then we'll be using another camera, okay? That's the only thing, is I don't have two of these cameras here. So what are you guys thinking? I did all the talking, and I haven't let you guys talk, okay? So Scotty says, great idea to ask a fellow owner to try the same test you are conducting. Yes. Now, this is the advice I want from you. Do I hit this on the big channel? Because if I found something unique, even just for this camera, that could bring in more than 500 or 1,000 views, because this is interesting information that if you do a quick scan on YouTube on the Lumix S5 Mark II, any one of you guys can go do that scan right now. S5 Mark II freezing, okay? Look and see if that's on YouTube right now. And when I looked at it, it was, when was it? In the afternoon, about 2 o'clock. I didn't see anything, and then I got involved with Osvaldo on fixing the colors. By the way, how do you like the colors? We spent most of the day doing the colors, and he's a professional colorist. So I'm no longer trying to match, the Nikon and the other cameras, or the S5 II. I'm trying to get the best picture out of each camera that I can. And when that happens, lo and behold, they match up pretty well, okay? So let's go over here and do a split screen. So now you're looking at, if I could sit up, now you're looking at, well, you can identify the cameras on the bottom. There's going to be differences because I'm not trying to match them anymore, okay? Yeah, Charles, I am very tempted. I am very tempted, buddy, okay? If the camera wasn't double the price, or you want to send the money over, okay, I'll need $2,000, all right? I will turn this in and buy the Z8, because the Z8 is going to be a camera I probably can keep till I die. I'm going to be 70 years old. Well, maybe not till I die, okay? So we're looking at the colors. There are differences. One camera is definitely sharper than the other. One camera is definitely got more contrast than the other. One camera makes my face look better than the other, and I haven't identified which one is which. But if I had to pick the camera that I think, keep your hand down, Peter. If I had to pick the camera that I think is giving me the better picture, I think it's the Lumix S5 II. That's my choice. What do you think? Is the Nikon giving me the best picture, or is the S5 II giving me the best picture? So right now, I can honestly say, without fudging, without going like wink, wink, nod, nod, that the S5 II is giving me the better picture of the two cameras. I'm trying to sit in the middle of both of them. I don't have to sit in the middle. I can just come over here and fix that. I forgot. I'm in control over here. Okay. I can go over here and I can move this. And there we go. Now, I don't have to change my position in the chair. I can actually, and this is only related to this scene alone, okay? So it doesn't affect the other scenes at all. So now I'm comfortable where I'm sitting, and they're both centered, happy, and all that kind of stuff. Scotty says, don't hit the big channel yet. Well, I want to. I want to hit the big channel tomorrow, okay? Because I have some information that other channels don't. Don't forget, YouTube is all about getting views. All right? So I'm able to back up what I'm saying. In other words, this is not pie in the sky. So tell me why you don't think I should hit the big channel yet. Okay, so wait. Wait. I jumped over everybody. So Charles says, return it. Buy the Nikon Z8. Well, I'm going to start the return process. Okay? Just because they limit you on open boxes, right, Charles? It's like on used stuff. They don't give you the full 30 days. So that needs to start immediately. All right? So Charles says, I'm giving Peter a cardiovascular workout. No, it's not your fault. It's mine. I determined ahead of time that I was staying on topic, and I failed. I failed right in front of everybody, okay? I was not able to stay on topic, and shame on me. Not you, Charles, okay? I always expect you to go to Fuji. You just do that naturally, all right? If I talk about the moon, somehow you're going to turn it into a Fuji conversation. I know that. This is not new information. And I said I'm going to keep it on topic, and yet, see, it goes to show you how much you're in my heart. When you talk, I listen, okay? So now, listen to me. If I say I want to talk about this, unless you purposely want to derail me, okay, then I will have to push you out of my heart a little bit. But I trust you that much. We've had, 4-hour, 5-hour phone conversations. So when you talk, I listen, okay? So Scotty says, FunFest said, now finally I say the S5 Mark II looks better. I agree. I picked the S52 now, not 2 days ago, okay? But tonight, right now, I would say it looks better, okay? And I would agree with you. I'm waiting to hear from Osvaldo to see what he thinks. So Scotty says, don't hit the big channel yet. And Charles says, I would hit the big channel. It will generate clicks and views. See, Charles is a YouTuber. He gets on there. He walks around live in the different parks in Disney. And it makes it a little bit of controversy, or a little bit of a flare-up causes people to come in. Okay? So, that's why I wanted to work it with you guys, because you're all mostly family here, okay? Scotty says, the R6 could very well be the last interchangeable lens camera I own. I'm 62. Well, the R6 is a great camera. Honest to God, I could have the R6 here now, and I would be happy. I really would. I wouldn't have been happy 2 weeks ago, but I have solved every single problem that was important to me on the R6, except the fact that it's 20 megapixels instead of 24. But you know what? Gives me better low light ISO. Okay, so when Randy's out there driving around and you look at his high ISO, lo and behold, he's got very clean images coming out of his R6. So that's very, very good. So Woody says, put it on the big channel. Negative camera issues bring big numbers. That's what I was thinking. Scotty, did you change your mind, or you still say keep it off? Okay, because Charles says put it on. Woody says put it on. And now FunFest is saying this is perfect for the big channel. Okay, so just getting into the paperwork for a second, I'm going to say I got the S5 Mark. Hey, it's Peter Gregg, Miami, Florida. I got the S5 Mark II brand new camera from Lumix, and I am loving the camera. It's got some great features, but it does have some disappointments. But there's a uh-oh, and the uh-oh is there's either a problem with the firmware or there's a problem with this individual camera. The camera freezes on me while I'm using it, and I can repeat that at will. In other words, it's not like I'm waiting for it to freeze. I can walk over there and I can make it freeze anytime I want. So anytime you have something that could be a firmware update, you have to start eliminating the possibilities. So is it your battery? Is it your cable? Is it the computer? Is it the lens? On and on, okay? So I have eliminated everything I can eliminate here, and I can still replicate the problem. And then I'll go on and on. So that's what the video will sound like on the big channel. I'm going to give the camera some praise because it deserves it. I like this camera, okay? And then I'm going to focus in on what nobody else, what is it? Chelsea and Tony, Northrop and Gerald. Nobody's going like the camera freezes up. Now, it could be just this one camera. It really could, okay? So, but it will attract attention. And remember, I'm here to get views. And that is not BSing. I'm not lying to you because I want to get views. I want the channel to grow. And this is a genuine topic. I don't intend on lying. I don't intend on stretching the truth. I'm a Christian guy. I don't do that kind of crap, okay? So I'm not going to do, what do they call that? Clickbait. When I do clickbait, it bothers me in here. I don't like it, okay? I'm not going to give away the factory, okay? I'm not going to give away everything right up front in the thumbnail, but I want people to come in and see, okay? So I have it recorded, Charles. I was recording. I think it'll be even better if you can film it when it freezes. I already have that, and I could pop that video in, okay? So I was actually running a live stream privately with Osvaldo, and I said, here, I can make it freeze. And it's recorded, so all I have to do is cut that little part out, and while I'm talking, I could put B-roll on top of me. See how I keep going up above my nose, okay? So I could put B-roll, where it's here. This is what it looks like when it's freezing. So that's the story tonight. We'll start again tomorrow night. And the show tomorrow night starts at 10. And we'll have the same argument. Charles, come in here and get me going on Fuji again. So this way I can get riled up. People like to see it when my blood gets flowing, okay? So, Charles, I love you. I didn't mean to say anything aggressive, except, what's the saying? Either poop or get off the toilet. Prove it or zip it, all right? So that's what I was trying to say, all right? I don't just want pie in the sky stuff, but do that to me tomorrow night. So this way I'll get all fired up and people like to see that, okay? So let's see. Scotty says, I wouldn't want to make one mistake to ruin my photography business. What would Jesus do? He turned water into wine. So I would sell this camera and go and buy cases of wine. And you'll be seeing me drink wine all day long. That's a joke that Osvaldo told me. He says this drunk, this guy came and talked to him. He was on the street and he was all drunk and everything. And he got this drunk to go to church with him. So he went to church. He got cleaned up. He got sober, and he stopped drinking liquor. And the preacher was preaching and preaching and preaching, and then 2 months later, the guy didn't show up to church anymore. And his friends started thinking, I wonder what happened to him. So he started wondering. He was driving down the street and he saw his friend on the side of the curb. And he was drunk. And he said, what happened to you? You were doing so good. You came to church. You received Jesus. You cleaned up. He says, well, I found this envelope with $200, on the sidewalk. I went and turned it into the police, and nobody claimed it. So it became mine. So I keep hearing the preacher preaching how Jesus turned water into wine. So I was thinking, what would Jesus do with this money? So I turned it into wine. I thought it was a wonderful joke. So I know, keep my day job. I thought it was a good joke, all right? What can I tell you? All right, guys, I love each of you. Charles, I love you too. Yes, that's why I can get pushy with you, okay? And if you're right, I will say Charles was right. I was wrong. 100% wrong. Okay? I am not ashamed to admit I'm wrong. I'm 70. I'm going to be 70. I need to do it now. I don't want to wait 400 years to say, oh, I'm sorry, Charles. I was wrong 30 years ago. I need to do it now. Okay? So Charles says, when you come to Disney, bring a camera that works. If not, I can lend you one of my Fuji cameras. We're back on Fuji again. Charles, I don't want to go to Fuji. I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm having fun now at this point. So thank you, guys. Is the reds too red? Maybe I worked myself into a overload on the reds. Okay. No, I'm fine. All right. So I'm going to go, and I deserve a dessert after this. So I wasn't even going to come on live tonight, but I wanted to see how you guys were going to react to me being able to freeze this camera. And I hope Fuji gets nosy enough to come in here. Okay, I really do. So if not, the big channel is going to get an S5 Mark II. Firmware has a bug in it. And let them stew over that, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You guys have an idea for a title? Email me, okay? I want a title that's truthful. I'm not going to lie, okay? But I want one that's going to get them by the throat. No, they can't say that. But then I'm going to prove that it's true. I'm going to make the camera freeze. What are they going to do then? Take me to court? Well, now you owe me a company. I don't want the camera. I want the whole dang company. Okay? I'm going through a lawsuit now. I'm ready to fight the next guy. All right. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow night. If God is willing and the bridge ain't up, you got more information tonight. And if you have a thought, either leave it in the comments or my email is in the description. Email me with your thought, okay? Because I count on you guys to give me your wisdom. It's like the Bible says, wisdom comes in with a lot of counselors. So I'm reaching out to you, asking. I am actually asking for your wisdom on this matter. You know what I'm going to do. And if you've got a reason for me to stop in my tracks, I'm not stupid where I won't listen. I will listen. All right? Love you guys. God willing and the bridge ain't up. Same time, same bat station, 10 o'clock tomorrow. All right? And I'll be working on the two things that I said I was going to work on, and I guess I'll tell you how it went. All right? Bye. Really? Bye. Bye, bye, bye. That's good. Actually, I like that, Charles. Not clickbait. The S5 Mark II freezes. I like that. And if you've got a refinement on it, hit me with it. Hit me with your best shot. Goodbye. See you later.